Galangorjali, Jesse, thank you so much for joining me on the Tribe Talks.
No, thanks for having me. Definitely. Appreciate
It's awesome. I've known you for a while now, and I've got some insight to your business and the amazing things you are doing. And I'd just like to start off um, by welcoming you to the tribe. This is a 15-minute-ish chat just to get to know a bit more about your business and to understand and share some of your knowledge and insights. So my first question is, can you share a little bit about your journey and Yilay's growth and explain what Yilay is?
Okay, so Yilay, we started over 5 years ago as a bit of a joint venture.
Mm.
But the start of 2020, so January 2020, took Yilay out on my own. Yilay means scorpion in my bachelor language, which is from Gari, Harvey Bay, Fraser Island area.
Mhm.
So yeah, it means scorpion. Wanted something unique, something different, and also something non-Indigenous crew can pronounce by looking at how it's spelt. So yeah, didn't want it to be butchered in any way,
Yeah.
the pronunciation. So yeah, so we're pretty much a 100% Indigenous owned, 100% Indigenous operated apparel promotions and signage company based here in Magajin or in Brisbane, as people say. Yeah, and like I mentioned, we've been running, went out on my own Jan 2020, so just before COVID, and got through that hard year, and yeah, have been progressing ever since. So it's we look after everyone from your tier one kind of clients all the way down to your small community groups. We try and look after everyone and cater to everyone's needs where we can. From everything, we do the whole process. So from obviously the mock-ups and design processes all the way through the manufacturing. And yeah, if you're here in Southeast Queensland, we'll usually deliver it to your door. So
And what's a tier one client example?
Amazon Australia,
Okay.
BHP,
Right.
ANZ Bank, yeah,
Wow.
those kind of ones. So yeah, we're kind
Yes.
of kicking goals, Chubb Security, um, yeah, it's Australian Retirement Trust. So all these corporates that I've never thought when we first started we'd be working with, but yeah, we just keep knocking on the door, and some open, some don't. But I think we just got to keep moving. So no point dwelling on things if they don't go right.
And in terms of one of those big key clients, what sort of things would they approach you for? What would you do for them? What would be a product you'd sell to them?
Uh, Preferably a lot of them like our what I'm wearing now, our corporate wear, so our custom corporate wear. I feel unlike, I don't want to put everyone in this boat, but unlike a lot of our competitors as well, I've got a bit of a background in the fashion, where I trial everything and materials and fabrics, and I kind of lay the shirts out how I like them. If I don't wear them, I wear them daily. If I don't wear them, I won't sell them. So I feel our product first is top notch, and I think, and I always like to send that to my clients when I'm quoting or tendering for things. I like to send them the product and say, hey, this is our price. Yeah, it might not be at the cheapest option, but at the same time, let's compare apples for apples, and it usually will get it over the line because they said just the quality itself is high caliber compared to a lot of the competitors. But yeah, a lot of the corporate stuff, blouses, ties, scarves, we delve into it, and even more your more unique fabrics with your silks and all this, we do all this as well. So
Amazing. So one of
yeah,
your key selling strategies is that you'll send them out a quality, like a sample.
yeah, that's one of the processes.
Mhm.
We can do it full custom as well. So
Yeah.
we might say, hey, we've done the whole mock up for them. They might say, hey, we don't even have an artwork. So we'll partner them up with one of our partnered artists that we work with. We try and give them as much work as possible. Part of that is we don't take a commission at all of anything that any work we get our partnered artists. The idea is that I want to try and get them as much work as possible where they're working full time in the art space. They're
Yeah.
doing all the work. I'm only giving up some of my time, so I don't mind being that, pretty much the mediator in between that. I'm here to help the client. If there's contract questions or questions they don't feel comfortable asking the artist, and likewise with the artist, for the client. So I kind of be that mediator in between. I don't get involved in any money talks if I don't need to, unless the client or the artist need me to. And then, yeah, money goes direct from client to artist. I don't even touch it. So that's just part of the process. I think a lot of our clients like that as well. It's part of the give back that we do here. One of our laws on the Bachelor is if you have heaps, plenty you must share. So, yeah, I'm trying to bring a lot of as many Indigenous artists, Indigenous professionals in this kind of space along as possible. So yeah, we would design that from artwork to the mock-up stage. We offer free mock-ups for our clients.
Yeah.
And if they wanted, or we're still a bit unsure, we would actually make the sample of the mock-up, send them the final product so they can actually wear it and trial it.
I love that.
And I feel that that's kind of something that a lot of our clients really appreciate.
I love that. I love the fact that actually when I dig into successful businesses like yours, on face value, you're just selling a product essentially. Then you dig into it and you find there's a real purpose behind the product, and yours is very clear. And then you dig in a little bit more and you find that you're doing some really good stuff and really supporting and championing people, Indigenous people. And the further you dig, the more purposeful the business becomes. And people don't see that at face value; they just see the product. But again, as I've been doing these tribes talks for a few weeks now, and it's so lovely talking to people and getting to know their business a bit more, and then understanding that actually behind it is this machine of good that is trying to do something that provides and supports others, that isn't just about selling products. And it's been a key theme with the last few businesses that I've talked to, which is awesome.
Yeah, I guess also
Um,
a platform to help, a lot of mobs that are close to us and both me and my partner, women's shelters, men's groups in particular for me, myself, with a few family members and also young fellas that I've looked after, going through some bad times and, at the point where suicide's very high in our community, especially in our male population. So, yeah, try and help out as much there where we can, whether it's just donating money, whatever they need for those programs to run. A lot of them are grassroots programs,
yeah.
which I feel are the very beneficial ones because they're on the ground and they're in the communities and they're run by community as well. So yeah, that's just other stuff that we try and help with as well. And obviously supporting sporting teams and that we always get hit up for that. So yeah, try and help all the young mob there where we can also.
Amazing. It's amazing, Jesse. Really amazing. What have been some of the key milestones and then challenges that you've faced along the way? You've been in business now for
4 years. Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
What
out
have
of
been,
my own since January, yeah, 2020. So yeah, 4 years, which has
yeah.
been milestones. I guess a big milestone, like obviously there was a lot of grinding in that first year. Obviously, COVID was something that came out of nowhere, which a lot of people experienced. And
Mm,
being a new business and out on my own, it's to get through that stage, especially clothing and apparel. So we weren't heavy retail at the time, and I know retail sales went up because everyone's at home buying online. We were
mm,
very corporate orientated, and people weren't working from office. Conferences weren't going
yeah.
ahead. Schools were closed. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So
All
corporate.
your major customers were not there. Yeah.
Exactly,
Mm,
exactly. So we had to adapt. We jumped in the PPE game for a little while, like many did. Fortunate for me, over the 9 months prior, I built up a good base of tier one clients who were still operating and needed PPE gear and stuff like that. So I offer the Australian manufactured hand sanitizers and stuff like this, and became N95 masks for a lot of the departments in child safety and all this kind of stuff that were still out in community, had to go door to door and stuff. So I guess getting through that was a milestone in itself. That first year, like the first year is hard enough,
mm,
just in normal times, let alone having that there. I guess going from there is then, working with these big tier ones in capacity where they're trusting us to do thousands of shirts at a time and, forwarding partnerships with a lot of their bigger warehouses who already have those kind of online portals and stuff where
mm.
we deal directly with them. Don't have to reinvent the wheel, upscale to the point where we've got a warehouse the size of Bunnings or anything like that. We're
Yeah.
kind of utilizing those partnerships shipping stuff direct to those kind of big logistics companies that can hold that stuff and then ship it all out for our clients, which is fantastic. So
Yeah.
it's moved fairly quickly, I feel. In a way, I think me personally it probably held up the process.
Right.
A bit of a perfectionist. Um, I also micromanage. I'm
Yeah.
not scared to say that. Yeah, I know I do it, and I kind of got to go. No, no, I'll let you handle it. I
Yeah.
think because it's my baby, it's yeah, I like to make sure things are working the way that I've done it. But I've had to now put trust in a few sales reps that handle all this stuff, just so then I can go and spend time elsewhere developing product
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff as well, and meeting new clients, of course. So
So the I suppose handing over your brand
yeah,
and everything you've built to something else is probably one of your biggest challenges.
definitely, definitely, because I've done pretty much the whole thing myself for a long time there as well, in regards to not just the online social stuff to the website, had to run my own website as well on top of, sales, accounting, all the stuff behind the scenes as well. So being able to shift that, we're just putting on a content writer, Indigenous person who's
Amazing.
written for things like Indigenous X and all this kind of stuff, which is fantastic. Putting on a new graphics, one of our artists is coming on in the graphic space as well, to help us out there. And yeah, still maintaining our 100% Indigenous operation as well,
Yeah, love.
which is key for us. So 5 staff, all Indigenous. Yeah, so we're going to leaps and bounds. It's a slow process, but yeah, we're just trying to stick by that process as well. Like a lot of people say, when you support Indigenous business, you're going to be supporting Indigenous community as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's what we try and strive, being mob that are connected with our communities pretty strongly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try and help out as best as we can be.
And look, you've probably already answered this, but I just wondered if there's anything else in there. Like it's evident your deep connection to community, to country, to culture, and having worked with you before, that comes across in everything you do.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that comes across? You've probably answered it in a lot of ways, but is there anything else that you do to make sure that in your messaging, your branding, your connections with people, that connection to country, culture, and community comes across?
Yeah, I guess there's all different ways. Like even a few years back, around where we're heavy in our NAIDOC ranges, we always bring out a new NAIDOC range every year. So a few years back it was Hill Country.
Mm,
Um, so my country, Bachelor Country, Gari, Fraser Island was had massive fires at the time. So for instance, $1 of every item that was sold, we donated to our local, which a few of my family members, my uncles, and that run, regards to rejuvenation, so growing native plants and stuff in Harvey Bay, and then going back over to Ireland to replant a lot of the vegetation and native plants that were obviously burnt off during the massive bushfires. So that's just part and parcel. It's not just giving to organisations or small groups and stuff like this. We're also trying to help in regards to those laws that we try and obey in looking after country.
yeah.
Um, Another way as well is most contractors that we utilise
Hmm.
in the space. So photographers, models, all this kind of stuff, are all Indigenous.
Yeah.
In our spaces being apparel, we're heavy in that marketing. So yeah, our photographer and videographer is a Torres Strait Islander gentleman, which has helped him get exposure now. He's doing a lot of big NAIDOC events, and you'll see him at the balls and all this kind of stuff doing photos. That's his passion. So we're happy to kind of provide that opportunity and pathway for him.
Mm.
Obviously he's got a family and full-time job outside of that. All the way through to we get asked very random questions on products and different stuff. And a big thing that I try and stick by, if I can't provide it, I'm not going to muck a client around. So if I know an Indigenous group that does that kind of, or looks after that kind of product, or works in that space and is doing it well, I'll usually just recommend them from personal experience or my interaction with them. I don't expect anything back from them in that regards. It's just,
Yeah.
hey, we want to work with Indigenous mob, and it's something that I can't look after. Here, maybe hit these guys up. They've got a good reputation in that space, and see how it goes. And that mob might not even know that I'm sending people their way. but if I've heard of them or know of them, I usually try and do that. I think that's just part and parcel. They'll always come back to you in some capacity. So
Mm, mm.
yeah.
That's awesome. Um, Touching on e-commerce, so you've grown the business to a significant, a significant revenue number. What are some of the key tactics you would say and strategies you've used? E-commerce is a busy space. It's crowded. There's a lot to it. What are some of the tactics and strategies you've used that you think have had the biggest impact?
For us, we found like there's so much product out there, and yeah, we've got some great product, and it's very colourful, and it's appealing with photography and Instagram in particular. Being a lot of pictures.
Hmm.
Um, we try and promote that as much, but we feel we get the most traction and we get the most inquiries and all this when people see the stuff we're doing in community, the stuff
Hmm.
we're doing with clients,
Right.
for what we do. The stuff we're donating and all this kind of stuff. We feel that gives us the best leverage in a way. A lot of our clients and customer base, they see that and go, hey, you're doing some great work. We'd love to support you by
Yeah.
purchasing your
Mm.
product so you can continue to do this over here.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, I feel that's probably
So
our
physical presence and sampling is like getting in front of people is what's
yeah,
been really key to success.
yeah, and also the storytelling. So, a
Mm.
lot of people want to see, they don't, I feel there's so much fake stuff out there,
Yeah.
not just product or anything like that, just people in general, just personas and that people want to see real stories and stuff like this and
Mm.
stuff they can relate to. So I feel like in our space, when we put up those feel good stories and who we're working with and how that program or whatever that we've partnered with is making a change for people's lives. I think people resonate with that better. And then, they go, okay, sweet. We'd love to just purchase one of your polos or hoodies or
Mm.
whatever, but that it's going back into community and, not just the Indigenous community, but just the community in general. So,
Yeah. You've also used personalized email communication quite a lot, haven't you, in connecting with customers, quoting customers,
yeah,
organizing samples to be sent and things like that, which has worked
yeah.
really well for you.
Definitely, definitely. We've probably got to be a little bit better. As you're aware, we're changing everything over our website over to Shopify to make it a bit more retail friendly and
Can't wait till that happens.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. We've had to jump on the platform that we were on, so just to upscale pretty much and to make it a bit friendly. We want to introduce more retail products. We kind of just do our NAIDOC range and a lot of our corporates and that, and then we introduce that into retail just because a lot of community were asking, oh, can we purchase one-offs? So that was the original story behind that. But now we want to not just release NAIDOC ranges, we want to release, different kind of ranges along the way that people can purchase. And in different items that we already offer for a lot of our corporates, in the medical spaces, in scrubs, high vis in the labouring and construction sides of things, urban wear, you know what I mean, for our younger crowds that
Yeah.
want to get in it. So try and offer all those different stuff, women's ranges in the summer,
Yeah.
summer catalogue or something like that, you know what I mean? So
Mm.
trying to diversify that. And I feel I can spend a bit more time now that I'm not trying to micromanage. So I can and work on developing those. So
Looking product ranges.
taking that step back from that helps
Yeah.
me then develop this, which can then hopefully lead to more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I told you I'd curveball off a little bit, but what's your targets for this year? Like where are you heading towards? What things do you want to implement this year?
Yeah, well, we're actually trying to upscale the warehouse. So
Mhm.
we're actually looking at one. We put an offer in this last week for a decent size one, where not just for our team, we're trying to work with a couple of our artists and even other partnered artists that aren't officially on our website, but have enough space where they can also then sell their artworks and all this kind of stuff and artifacts, Yidikis or didgeridoos, you know them as, but formal name is Yidiki. Sell artifacts and stuff like that they make. and then they've got a space that they can come to and show clients, and it's got meeting rooms and stuff like this, as well as outside of the warehousing side of things. So something a bit more formal for them that's in Brisbane, because some of them are located outside of Brisbane. So, but they meet a lot of clients in here. So also trying to help them along the way. So that's kind of our thing this year that we want to try and upscale to, is to get this nice space that's kind of like a community space in a way. Yes, it's going to be officially Yilay's office and warehousing facility, but hopefully have some of our partnered artists and other artists we work with associated with it, where they can bring clients in. It's kind of then a two-pronged sword in a way, where they're talking to their clients, showing them some stuff that they do, but then they're like, oh, what's this clothing over here? You know what I mean, as well. So, there's a bit of strategy behind it for us. But, if we can help them, it might help us as well at the same time.
So I think one of your key themes is that you create space, you create opportunity for community. That's and you lead by absolute example. So I'm honoured to be able to speak to you, Jesse. I love listening to your story. And is there anything, talking to community, is there anything the community can do to support you in your next stage of growth?
I guess, yeah. Well, there's the obvious, sending us around to any contacts, although they might be looking for anything in signage and promotions. But I guess outside of that, and even just not supporting myself, supporting other Indigenous businesses, because there's a few popping up in this space, which is fine. There's plenty of work out there for mob. So I think just asking those questions, because there is a lot of competitors of ours that aren't Indigenous owned and working in the art spaces and stuff like that. I think not being, asking Indigenous crew, oh, are you Indigenous owned? They're not going to be offended by answering that question. If there is an offence there, it's usually because they're not Indigenous owned, and they'll tell you a 10-minute story which leads to nowhere. Along, oh, yep, Australian owned and all this kind of stuff, but they've kind of dodged the question around their Indigenous ownership in the art space. So I guess, as I've mentioned, when you support an Indigenous business in this, we tend to support other Indigenous small businesses in the community as well, outside of just ourselves. So, it's a win-win for all parties if you're supporting not just Yilay, but, other businesses in the space as well that are Indigenous owned. So,
love it. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. I know how busy you are being a father of 3 children, as well as running the business and supporting the community. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to spend with me today and share some of your insights and knowledge.
Thanks, Kelly. Really appreciate it, and to come on the platform. And it's awesome to have something like this. So I hope it's helped in some way anyone. But always happy for people to reach out as well, for my details to be shared or whatever. If anybody wants to have a yarn, I'm more than happy to, for sure.
All right. Well, when we publish this, we'll share your details as well. Thanks, Jesse. Have a great day. Awesome.
Thanks, Kelly. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.